Kim Jong Un is very keen to gain some leverage from this meeting. Let's remember that it's only a couple of months since there was that summit in Hanoi with Donald Trump, which ended inconclusively with no new announcements, no deals on denuclearization of the North Korean area. So he's here. He says he's very happy to be here to talk to President Putin to try to improve relations between Russia and North Korea and gain some leverage. I mean, basically what we're talking about here is demonstrating, Kim Jong is demonstrating that he can work diplomatically on the world stage, that he doesn't just have friends in China, he also has friends in Russia, and he's trying to bring some leverage, some pressure to bear onto the Americans so that the next time he meets with Donald Trump, there'll be something definite. From the Russian side, the Russians are very keen to show that they also have influence in this part of the world, that they're not being left behind, because so far this has been mainly a show that's been run by China and the USA, and also to develop better relations with North Korea. It's the first time that the North Korean leader has been in Russia since he became president in 2011. His father was here 3 times before, the last time in 2011, just before he died, arriving in the same armoured train that the North Korean leader arrived in Vladivostok yesterday.
What do we expect the key talking points to be at today's summit?
Nothing definite has been stated. There's going to be no joint communique, there are no planned announcements, but it's quite likely they're going to be talking about ways to somehow lessen the sanctions that have been imposed over the years, most recently a couple of years ago by the UN. Now, Russia and China, as well as the US, of course, have signed up to those sanctions, and those sanctions stipulate economic and financial sanctions, reduced amounts of oil, no gas imports or exports for North Korea. The North Koreans will be hoping that President Putin will be able to use the Russian veto in the UN Security Council to try to reduce the weight of some of those sanctions. For example, there are about 8,000 North Korean workers in Russia at the moment. They're working mainly in the logging industry around here in Vladivostok, in construction. They're part of a large group of North Koreans around the world, China, Russia, other countries, who contribute about $500 million a year to the North Korean economy. That's about 1.5% of its GDP. President Putin may try to persuade the UN that sending those workers home, which they should be sent home by the end of this year under the sanctions, is a step too far, and that's too severe. So there may well be some communique on that later, and there may be some announcements about some barter deals to get around the sanctions on doing direct financial deals with North Korea, and there may be some movement on infrastructure projects, improving a bridge that was first built 60 years ago on the narrow border that Russia has with North Korea, those sorts of things. But nothing major has been announced ahead of time.